blue and yellow Chevrolet, painted just like this. There's the Monte Carlo. Mike Curb was the sponsor. He is still sponsoring races. Curb Entertainment, Curb Records, Warner Hodgson on the hood, Rod Osterlund on the team, and with Doug Richard as crew chief, Earnhardt won the 1980 championship in his second season in the sport. That was Cale Yarborough right behind him in 27. The MC Anderson car, but wow. Look at how cool is that?
When I first started in racing, that Monte Carlo body style right there, my boss on the Goodyear tire store I was working out, I was 15, 16 years old, and he built a street stock car, that same body style. It was a boat. My gosh, it was so long. Like, you're never going to get that thing to turn.
That's so cool. Should be mandatory.
Well,
run the street stock class and those types of cars,
100%.
because a boat is a great way to describe it.
All right, so let's just take a minute as we look at the drivers who will be in turn one to excuse the teams who have not chosen a throwback paint scheme for this weekend. Many of them have one or several race sponsors who want their branding on the car and have elected not to buy into the throwback theme. And the less said about that, the better. But we respect what they have to do. Oh, my gosh. So in 1965, the Lotus of Colin Chapman went to Indianapolis with Formula One champ Jim Clark at the wheel. And back then, Formula One cars, English cars had to be British racing green. Italian cars had to be red. Those were the rules. And your numbers had to be black inside, white roundels. Lotus powered by Ford. Now, there were a lot of British teams. So the Brabhams had a gold stripe around the nose. Colin Chapman's Lotuses had a yellow stripe around the nose. And that is the car that Jim Clark drove to victory in the 1965 Indianapolis 500. And Leonard Wood, who you saw there, was the crew chief. Ford, who provided the power, asked the Wood brothers to fit the car for Jim Clark, and they handily won the Indy 500.
Yeah, we had Leonard and Eddie Wood on the podcast this week, taping an episode that you'll hear down the road, and he told the story about that fuel system and how he built it, and standing in or sitting inside the car working on the Venturi of how that fuel was going to flow. Just great stories of the innovation and the things that happen in the sport. But that pit stop was pretty important to that victory.
Absolutely.
See, I knew that was Clark's 65 Indianapolis 500 victory. I had no idea that the color was a rule, or the number black and the white. Come on, Mike. You're flexing on us bad here. You're making Kevin and I look bad. No.
I just read a lot back then. I read every car magazine I could find, and a lot of it stuck, I guess. Jamie.
Well, Ryan Preece has been flexing lately. 3 consecutive top 10 finishes. You guys are on a roll, Ryan. But here we are, practice at Darlington. What are some of the benefits for you to be in the second group and get to hook up and look at all the data?
Yeah, well, I think Darlington, this is a track that changes so much with rubber, right? And even though we have Xfinity cars out there, it's definitely better to be out there in the second round and get a good feel for where your car is going to be. And Derek and this entire Country Croc, Kroger, Ford Mustang, they've been doing a great job all year. And yeah, so I feel good. Obviously last year they were really strong here, and watching Brad, I feel like our pace is going to be good. Thank you.
The reason Ryan Preece is in the second group is because of those top 3 finishes. So Eric Jones. This is a tribute to John Andretti's victory, driving for Richard Petty in 1998 for Throwback Weekend. STP, for whom Richard had a lifelong sponsorship from Andy Granatelli, and they still run, a race a year with STP as the primary sponsor on that 43. Now, when they first signed the deal in about 1972 or 3, Richard said the car's going to be Petty Blue. Andy Granatelli said, no, the car is going to be STP Dayglow Red. They argued and argued and argued, and the deal almost came apart until they painted it both colors. And that's what you see.
It's way down on the apron right there, Kevin. C-Cross is pretty low.
And to me, the next gen car, Gen 7 car here, that is the old school line with the old car, and Eric's trying to make this work. As you see him running the bottom of the racetrack, I found when I drove this car, it would run fast down there on the apron, but it was super hard on the tires.
In 3 and 4.
In both ends. You saw him on the apron in 1 and through the middle. through the middle. You're going to see him try to
as low as
see him running low right here, just looking for something different. But I find it to be super hard on the right rear tire and hurts it on the long run.
Eric Jones, two-time winner here. Is he on your bingo card for tomorrow?
Should be. Osabar, a lot of speed over this car. Again, they have unloaded speed each and every week with the 77 car.
And you see he's got the opposite, that high entry into one, gives you a little better angle through the middle of the corner. That's a very unique corner through 1 and 2. Carson has a lot of speed, but I think that later in a run and later in the second half of the race, his entry into one and up against this wall is definitely what you want to do to take care of the tires, to make that car good on the long run.
Osabar started second to Bubba Wallace here last fall.
There you see him on the pylon as well, right behind him. Again, another car that's just, hey, literally delivering speed out of that race car each and every week.
Look at the pylon. Now, hats off to our Fox Graphics group.
Number
They have even
42
incorporated the
Dollar
throwback
Tree.
numbers into our pylon. Well done. Look at that 21 there for the Wood Brothers. They call it a roundel, Flint. I don't know why.
Roundel.
So, 42, John Hunter Nemechek. Remember when his dad ran that paint scheme for Bell South for car owner Felix Sabates? 42 Cup car, Chevy Monte Carlo.
That's got to be neat. Anytime you can throw it back to anybody, right? Any one of your legends. But when your hero is your own father, it doesn't get any better than that.
Noah Gregson. B. Peru back on the car, and if you are seeing that car and thinking mom and pop's, okay, because Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Xfinity Series debut came in this paint scheme in 1996 at Myrtle Beach. There he is.
Hard to believe it's been that long ago already.
Well, Clint, we are getting old.
Thanks, Kev. You're getting there quicker than I am.
I know.
I don't mind growing old. It's growing up that I'm opposed to.
Well, you don't have to do that, Mike.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Kev.
I don't have that.
You don't have that problem. You never have that problem.
He's never even thought about it.
He's going to be our 90-year-old teenager one of these
His
days.
capability is a real thing. I don't think that was in my capabilities.
Alex Bowman honors Jimmy Johnson's 2012 Southern 500 win. After a number of very close calls, Hendrick Motorsports got their 200th victory right here in 2012 with that Cobalt Tools Lowe's Chevrolet.
Took a lot of our fun out in those years, Kevin, that guy, and that paint scheme. My gosh, he was a selfish race car driver.
Yeah, that 48 car with Jimmy and Chad Canals as the crew chief and Hendrick Motorsports and everything that they were able to accomplish during that time. Won so many races and definitely was hard to beat.